people. Are we racist as a nation? Earlier this week, African diplomats issued a joint statement deploring India's failure to deter what they called xenophobic, racist attacks on African students and African citizens in India. Attacks that are becoming disturbingly regular. The latest flashpoint, the attack on 3 Nigerians in a mall in Greater Noida after the death of a young Indian teenager, allegedly of a drug overdose, which the mob claimed had some connection with Africans living in his neighborhood. The police, of course, found no proof of this. The Indian government's response was not to ratchet up protection for Africans, but instead, the Foreign Minister, Sushma Swaraj, in Parliament raised objections to India being called xenophobic. So are we in denial? Shazia Elmi of the BJP, let's ask you first. At a time when the Modi government is trying to upscale its diplomacy with Africa, we have 50 embassies and high commissions saying that the government has failed in its responsibility of providing security to these foreign nationals. Do we have a problem here? And the problem really is that we're not willing to admit that we have a problem.
No, first of all, I would like to say this was deplorable, and I think we all as a nation owe a huge apology to our African friends and our sisters and brothers who are going through this. Secondly, I think Sushma Swaraj has asked, let me finish, no? Because you put this also at Prime Minister Modi's door, which NDTV loves doing. So I will come to it. Let me finish, ma'am. Let me finish. I'm answering your question, ma'am. Let me finish. You asked me a question, I'm answering.
But I don't want
so
you to
Sushma
digress,
Swaraj.
so.
No, I'm not. I'm not digressing.
Go ahead.
Sushma Swaraj has asked Yogi Adityanath for a report on the subject. 1,000 people have been booked. 5 have been arrested. MJ Akbar has met all the envoys and the High Commissioner, the acting High Commissioner of Nigeria. So I think the government is doing all the governments do and more
Shazia,
to take care of this.
My question again, you've not answered. My question is, Sushma Swaraj says India is not racist. This is not a racist attack. Which is why I interrupted you in the first place.
I'm not going to go into what Sushma Swaraj said, but I feel there is in India a kind of an obsession with white skin. We are color conscious. In many parts of India, we are xenophobic. This might not be seen purely as a xenophobic or a hate crime, but the fact is, if you see our advertisements, if you see obsession with fair becomes synonymous with lovely, so there is an obsession with color. So this might or might not be, we'll know whether it's induced by the color, or, hate crime because of that. It could be more, but overall, generally, we are obsessed with color.
Okay, but the fact that this keeps happening again and again, not only does this mar our standing internationally, our reputation internationally, but also does it take away our stand politically and morally? How can we raise questions about America and Australia where there are attacks against Indians when we are doing so little, doing almost nothing to protect the Africans?
I would disagree with you because I think we're doing a lot. I think if Sushma Swaraj has taken up it in the parliament, last time she met all the high commissioners, and I think with 1,000 people have been booked and 5 have been arrested, and because Yogi Adityanath himself is assured of impartiality and a good report, I think the best that any government has done, UPA, NDA, all concluded, all that has been, all the efforts have been taken. So it's your version that not enough is being done, but I disagree, and I agree with you when I say that there is a color consciousness in our society.
You say enough is being done. Let's go across to a couple here we have from Mumbai. She's an Indian American and we have an African American, and they're together and they live in Mumbai. You have a daughter who's 9-year-old, Sangeeta, and you fear that you may have to pull her out of school because of racism?
Yes. We came in 2011 and things were really bad. It's like, oh, he's an African, he's a Nigerian, he's a drug dealer.
A 9-year-old boy?
No, my daughter, no, my husband.
Oh, your husband.
It started from there that he's a drug dealer.
That's Eddie.
That's Eddie.
Your husband.
And she gets harassed in school. She's light. She's not even dark, okay? And they call children darker than her will call her Kali Kawi. What does that make sense? They'll pull her hair. They'll tear her books. It's been going on from 2 years. I'm tired. I'm thinking of just homeschooling her. It's much better.
But when you hear our political leaders saying, look, we're not racist, this has nothing to do with racism, these are one-off crimes against Africans, and these are mobs that go out of control, do you believe them? Because you're saying 9-year-olds are calling another 9-year-old Kali, they're tearing her notebooks. Where are we learning this from? Because kids pick up what we see around us.
Bombay is much more tolerant. Mumbai is different. I can say that. Mumbai is different.
But even in Mumbai, you're facing these problems. Eddie, you've come from America. What do you think? Are Indians racist?
Yes. It's just plain and simple. It is. The moment I set foot in India, try not to be, put it like this. When I came to India, I got out. I'm a personal trainer. I do fitness. So for me to do my job, I said, okay, I need to get myself back into shape. I got out. I jogged up and down the road. I passed the police station every morning. There was somebody, cop stand out. I would say, good morning. Everybody just looked at me. They would stand, or they'd turn around and walk away. I'm up and down the street. I've had people see me, ah, Bap Ray. I've had women scream because they saw me coming. I've had people walk across the street because they saw me coming. Nothing, wasn't that
Cross
I was,
the road,
yeah, they're on the same side, yeah, same side of the road I'm on. They see me coming and walk away. They'll cross the street and look back to see if I'm coming to get them. I asked my wife, what is wrong with people here? And then she said to me, well, people think you're Nigerian. I said, what does that have to do with anything? She said, but Nigerians come and they're supposed to have made a bad name for themselves. I said, so what does that have to do with anything? It took 6 months for someone to say something to me just to ask me who I was and where I'm from. Once people found out I was American, things changed somewhat. Okay, I wasn't just African or Nigerian. For me, it bothers me because the stereotype of being African or Nigerian, here in India, being black is just not good. It doesn't matter if you're African, it doesn't matter if you're Indian. Indians have an issue with being dark, period. And as she said, all your products, fair and lovely, fair and lovely, fair and lovely. Nothing says about being dark and beautiful. Nothing. There's nothing to tell you to be happy being dark-skinned, period.
And that's the ugly truth.
That's the ugly truth.
And Eddie points out, even in racism, there's a hierarchy, and it seems that he talks about what life is like for Africans in India. Africans say every time they step out onto the streets, malls, or public spaces, they are discriminated against. They're roughed up, abused, taunted with racial slurs, often called criminals, drug peddlers, sex workers. All this, of course, was exemplified in that midnight raid in South Delhi's Khidki village, led by the then Law Minister, Mr. Somnath Bharti, who's here in studio with us today. 4 African women, 2 Nigerians, 2 Ugandans were attacked by a mob that were led by the minister, following which they were taken to AIIMS and forced to undergo a drug test that turned out to be negative. Mr. Bharti, your reaction when you hear Eddie's stories and you've seen what's happened with the Nigerians recently, what is your reaction?
Let me take you back to the history of India. We are a country where we said that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We treated the entire world as friends. Wherever crime happens, it's absolutely to be, condemned. And I slightly disagree because possibly we're only noticing crimes against people with black skin. Crimes in India are also against people with white skin. Possibly we have not taken the data from there.
No, so you admit that this is a crime. The attack on the Nigerians is a
what
crime.
I'm saying, of course it's a crime.
And the attack on the women in Khidki Extension is also a crime.
I'm just coming to that 1 second. We have to distinguish the two. What happened in Khidki was not an attack on the people with black skin.
No, a mob led by you barged into these women's homes at night, forced them to undergo a drug test.
What he's saying is incorrect because factually they're all incorrect. The case is in the court. There is a complete video record of the entire night.
And we're going by the video recordings.
The complete video record of the entire night is on the web. Neither the police nor the media got interested in it. See, the entire area was so infested with drug traffickers and human traffickers. In fact, just after that, there was another FIR, 131 of 2014-15.
So the 4 women that you caught were
no. After that, 3 women ran for their life.
They were absolutely clear.
3 women were rescued later. And they went to the court, and there's another case going on. They have said that they were trafficked from Africa to this country.
But what would you
say
to
the
4 women who you picked up?
I had not seen.
Who were clean?
No. Again, hold on. The investigation is on. That time also, the drug was recovered from the car. Question is that all of these, if we as a nation are going to be defending ourselves as racist,
but as a law
so is the case with all countries. Okay?
No, as a law minister,
including America, every other country.
The mob can take the law into their own hands.
No, of course not. And I was that night, I don't want to defend myself here. That night, I was with the police. I had gone to the area. I mean, can you imagine that somebody would go to do racism with the police? Police was accompanying me throughout the time I spent in Khidki. All right? Police was with me, media was with me. I was not alone at all. So none of the action which we did in Khidki was racist. Okay? This is a matter of record.